Sisters of Spirit, featuring Lavender Green, Raven Waters, and Samantha May.
Welcome back to Sisters of Spirit. I am Raven Waters. This is Samantha May. And of course, we can't forget the lovely Lavender Green. And we are happy to see you again after some time. And today,
we're going to do vampirism.
We are going to do vampirism. That is right. That is okay.
So how you girls been doing? Like, it's been a while.
It has been a little bit.
I mean, I think there's been some changes with
Yeah,
somebody's outlook here.
Yes, I am now the Raven and White, you can say. So I'm
The
getting
White
there.
Raven.
Yeah.
Oh, that's scary.
I was always scary. Let's be realistic. That didn't change. What did though is yes, my hair is changing. I am actually going back to my roots.
Literally.
Yeah, honestly, going back to my roots.
Which brings us
blonde.
to the vampirism. Her roots.
Dum, dum,
Yeah,
dum.
actually, I would
Great
like.
segue.
I would like to say I am the only one at this table that is actually not a vampire or has been a
Excuse
vampire
me.
at one point. It's
Excuse
truthful.
me.
As long as I know of my past lives, I have not actually been a vampire.
Yeah, you were being carried by one, and then promptly there was an end.
She's talking about herself.
Past lives. Past lives are really a great thing to think about because you can become many different things in your life's work because of your past life. Like, this is a transition period, and a lot of people don't realize that different things that happened in their past life actually can occur again and again and again.
That's
Yep,
a wonderful
like,
thing to say.
Child abuse.
Say what?
We're not trying to talk about my past lives here, Samantha.
I mean, never mind.
I was just gonna say with the vampirism, that's very true. Because
Yes.
a lot of time we try to think about what is a vampire, what's a vampire nowadays? Like,
Compared to before.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I'm so used to seeing on the movie screens about somebody flying around as a bat. And realistically, I'm not gonna be seeing a bat human coming, down the turnpike trying to fly faster to get rid of traffic.
I mean, you might see someone at certain times of the night, like with a cape, but
This is true. We may see somebody inspired by being a bat or a vampire, but it's interesting to say with the past lives because I believe we were just discussing a little bit with Samantha going over about some things with the
Vampirism.
the vampirism, and
It's
really,
an actual disease.
Yeah,
it is.
I mean,
It's actually it's more commonly known as Renfield syndrome, which, if some of our vampire buffs out there would know, in the Dracula story, his assistant is, what is his last name? Renfield. And I just think I got a good chuckle out of that when I learned that little fact, and I'm cheating, but it's okay.
that's it's really funny because for
they're my
me,
notes.
like I was always a Frankenstein type of girl, so I always like Igor. And I'm all about Igor. Not Igor, Igor.
I thought
Okay,
it was
okay.
good.
Anyway,
Anyway.
vampirism, there's the actual disease is a clinical thing that people do crave blood. So in your normal vampire movies, they're going out there, they're going to bite your neck, leg, whatever. They don't have to technically bite your neck.
And they don't have to be that good looking all the time.
Right.
And I like to say probably people nowadays who are doing this are probably just looking at blood banks a little differently, not necessarily you a little differently.
Yeah.
Everybody goes food shopping. That's
But
all
a
I'm going to
person
say.
who has the clinical vampirism, they actually have to drink blood to survive.
Really?
Yes. But on a more spiritual level, there are other types of vampires. There's psychic vampires.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't realize that they're out there. They're real. I have met several psychic vampires.
I've met a few that didn't know that they were.
And that's a wonderful point. I
Mm-hmm.
just want to build off of that because sometimes you don't realize, what makes me a psychic vampire, right? What are
You're
some
psycho. Sorry.
what are some things that maybe you can notice about yourself or others that kind of may indicate that? And there's a lot of environmental things where maybe you're going about something and now all of a sudden you have a lot of lack of energy, or you know, you used to have this like beautiful clean space that now is not necessarily what it once was. Like there's a lot that you can see when you're influenced by that could be draining, or you see a friend that you love, but you know, you're like, I have to wait another couple of years to see them again. Like that might be also another indication.
But it's also a lifestyle.
Exactly.
Like vampirism nowadays, even before, it's a lifestyle. If you choose that life path, or if you just feel it as a calling, it's...
I guess there's a vampire around here.
it's a lifestyle, just like with witchcraft. It's a lifestyle. It's a specific thing that you do day after day after day after day. They're not running around out there going, I want to suck your blood. They're not out there doing that. Maybe some of them are in the bars, but that's just a little gimmick that they're doing. But to be out there as a vampire, there are a lot of people. I walk in different stores and people ask me questions like, are you a vampire? Are you a witch? Well, yeah, I am a witch. I'm very proud of that. Do I look like a vampire 99% of the time? Yes, because I white out my skin and I wear black clothes. But that doesn't mean all vampires white out their skin and wear dark clothes.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and I think it's very much personal choice, and it really is a choice. I mean, you could be living with this syndrome, and not necessarily be displaying that or really going into the vampirism.
So what about the garlic? Like
the garlic?
I mean, we all know that I'm definitely not.
Yeah, not in
the
this
way
life.
I cook.
Yeah, she has a lot of garlic in all of her food.
No, garlic doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to burn a vampire's skin.
Well, that kind of goes with the whole...
That's a folklore.
Yeah, it kind of goes with
the whole...
And I like to say with the folklores, because I am one who loves the folklores.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I feel like they all start with a source of truth.
And it all starts with a source of misunderstanding as well.
Yes. I would have to say that, because especially with like
interpretation,
the idea of blood, right? You might be drawn to blood, but there was always this image of beauty and youth that came with vampires because you're drinking someone's blood. It's keeping you youthful.
And that case in point, Lady Bathory, who was a murderer and killed her maids to bathe in their blood on the regular.
I was just envisioning that. I don't think I would want to be bathing in somebody's blood.
Beauty treatment nowadays? I don't understand.
It warm?
It is. They take blood from your butt and then they put it on your face. Don't look at me like that.
Don't you get pink eye from that?
my thing is more wondering.
Sorry.
You know, this is also to show this season, on a more serious note, is also to talk about Google addiction. And clearly, yes. I feel like this is a moment of Google addiction, because these are facts only found on Google.
No, and it was on Instagram. Thanks.
Instagram. This is actually an intervention.
Okay, so starting on current events and stuff like that to be serious, and like, you know, there's things out there that we can be serious about. So one of the things that we're going to do with our show this year is we're going to interject some things that are going on in the world and give our opinion about it. So here we are. This is our show, our opinion. What do you think your opinion is about these poor little children that are being taken away from their parents at the border? We'll ask you first, Rafe.
First off, my heart breaks for those families, because no one should be put in a position where they have to pretty much defend their family. And that's really what these people are being putting in there.
They can't defend their family.
They can't defend anything.
They have been...
And you know what? There's been a lot of people who come forward and they're saying, well, if you went about things differently, like there's always another side. But I just need to say, on my personal opinion of this matter, that there is no excuse for what, even if someone's doing wrong, for some person to be inhumane. And that's really what they're doing. What person would knowingly take a child out of a loving household or a loving family or loving parents?
Okay,
you were only coming to the United States to have a better life.
Okay,
that's what
but on the flip side,
sorry.
No, that's okay. We're going to ask you the same question. On the flip side, some people, now I will interject my personal feelings. Some people who follow the wrong path say this is the right thing to do because they're coming here illegally, and you got to like check them out and everything. Wait,
What? Okay.
So there is a specific person who feels that this is correct path. I do not feel it's a correct path. So we're going to ask Samantha May, what is your thought on this? What do you think is wrong with that picture?
That they're choosing to justify their actions based on religious beliefs. First of all, you might have just conveniently found a passage in the First Testament to justify your claim, but that was the First Testament for a reason. The Second Testament, everything was taught that it's love. Jesus walked by the way of love, and loving thy neighbor and accepting all. Like, everyone that followed him had something like probably that might have been deemed as wrong by society.
Okay,
Was
so
one of his
I'll be
followers an immigrant?
devil's advocate here because we all know, anybody who knows me, I am 100% against stealing these children away from their parents. How would you feel? How would you feel if somebody came up and ripped your child out of your arms? So I think it's wrong. I think that people should put themselves in these poor individuals who are coming out of a bad situation, coming here thinking they're going to get a better situation and being blindsided by having their families ripped apart.
And even our own citizens are being, when they come to the border,
Mhm.
they're being questioned as if they are illegal when they are not. Like, they went on vacation and come back to, oh, well, no, we have to take your daughter and your son, we have to go take them away. And then even putting them in different states.
I would just like to make this, bring it back here into what we do, right? I think there's a lot of times in life that we look at one thing to distract us from what's really going on. And I think a lot of individuals are being really distracted by the idea of people shouldn't come here without, in a sense, being invited, and they're focusing on that. But they're losing the aspect of that humanity. You're taking these children away from their parents because of one thing. It doesn't
Technically,
justify.
we are all immigrants because
Yeah, we are.
the people who lived here first were the Indians.
I agree with that
And
fully. But I
then
think
Native Americans.
Native Americans.
Okay, Native Americans,
Americans.
Indians, whatever. But we...
That's what the colonizers called them, Lavender.
I am so sorry. But first of all, we are the intruders here. We are the people who took over this land.
I agree with that full-heartedly.
What years ago, the entire country was known as the melting pot. Everybody came here. We all mixed together. We're a big old friggin' cauldron, and we mix us all together. And somebody is trying to make it so we can't mix everybody together.
I'm just saying, spices kind of bring out the meal. All right, I'm just putting
Yeah,
that out
all right, girl. Ha, ha, ha,
Good job.
there. We like some spices over here.
That's
We like
right.
all
On
the
our
spices.
show.
Everyone.
Okay,
Okay,
things
so to
silly.
rein
Anyway.
it back in and to bring us back to our show, because we had our 5 minutes of venting, and that is one of the things that we're going to do on this show. We're going to take 5 minutes each time. We're going to vent about something that really pisses us off, and we won't use specific names.
Nope.
But we all know who's pissing us off, right, girls?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
we do.
So back to vampirism.
It's funny how this topic comes up with vampirism.
Vampirism. I wonder.
Blood sucking, similar traits.
Life sucking.
You can look at it at home, figure out your own conclusions. I do think that was wonderful to really talk about that. I think
Yes.
that is something that's on a lot of people's minds. And I want everybody to know out there of whatever you stand, you know our views of everything, but we will accept everybody regardless of where you stand.
That's right.
And
Exactly.
Unconditionally.
always give our love.
Unconditional love.
That's right.
We are always here, and we're never going to be on one side or another judging. And I think a lot of judgment is out there right now, and that's not the space or the environment that
This
we
is
live
our
lives.
opinion.
Yes.
This is
Yeah.
not what we're trying to force
This
onto
is
other
what we
people.
see, and maybe something that could be a value that might help with your own views. I mean, take it or leave it, but
We have moments where, like everyone,
Where we vent.
yeah,
Yes.
Where we
we're
piss and
human.
moan.
I mean, we can be
We're
upset.
human?
I know.
How dare you say that?
I'm sorry, I'm the
we're
one human
just
here.
robots. Okay.
We might have
That's,
two
I'm
other
actually,
vampires,
I'm
but-
just actually a form of Google
Form
as
of
a
Google.
person.
She's an
She's a
advertising
goog.
show.
I'm a what?
You're a goog.
Okay.
Hey, she's a goog.
Uh,
Okay, so back to
Anyway.
vampirism. The reason for our show.
Yes.
I have met several different vampires, and one of the vampires that I actually met many, many years ago at the store that I used to have came into my store, very nice man, and told me he collected things. And it was a time in my life where I wasn't really as in tune with vampires as I am now, or as I was several years after that. But he came in and he told me he collected things and he needed me to help him release them. And the more I spoke with this gentleman, the more I realized that what he was collecting was people's souls, that he would suck the life out of them, and these people would either commit suicide or they would get terminally ill. And he was at the end of his lifetime, so he needed to release these souls back into the universe. And it's sad because nobody can collect your soul if you don't allow it. And I think my biggest point there is people have to realize that you need to be very strong. And you girls know that vampires have come into our life several times.
Oh, yeah,
yes,
definitely.
They've walked into stores we've been in. They've encountered friends of ours. There's always a battle of territory. And the truth is they can't do anything to us until we
You
allow it.
them to.
Because that's just the unwritten law of the universe. You can't, it's just like a ghost. They can't push you down the steps. They can scare the shit out of you and you can trip over your own goddamn feet. But
Yes.
that's the way it is.
Yeah. I agree. And you know what? It made me think a little bit, and maybe Samantha, maybe you can enlighten a little more about this.
Okay.
Because as she was sharing about this collecting of souls, why would, and you might be thinking the same thing too, why would a vampire
Collect
feel,
souls.
Yeah, feel
Well,
the
it's-
urge to collect souls?
Because it gives them more energy.
Yes, it gives them more energy.
I'm a
and
money vampire. I collect money.
I don't know what I collect. But essentially when you're a vampire, you're empty. So you're constantly trying to fill a void of some kind. And that can be through souls. Some people fill it with money. Some people fill it with like
That was a joke.
whatever it could be. But at the end of it, they're filling an empty vessel, and they feel like they need external gratification to.
But as a vampire in a previous life,
Yeah.
I would never say that I was empty. I would say that I was more powerful and more cryptic.
Yeah.
Okay, I would be more apt to wanting more but never empty.
I would go as far as saying that when you, as a fellow vampire in the same life as you,
Yeah, I'm kind of out of this conversation
Yeah.
right here, so
just
just an observer.
and now remembering the fangs and whatnot, and it was glorious. But I didn't feel that it defined me, the power that it gave me. It just was a means to an end. So I needed energy, so it was a means to get that energy, like food.
Okay, so we're going to take this moment and we're going to say that the conclusion of this
Yes.
show will be in our next show
Yes.
because we're doing split shows this time.
We're doing
and
a two-parter.
we're doing a two-parter,
I'm
people.
so excited. You get to see more of us.
And
In the same outfits and the same clothes.
same
That's right.
gloriousness. Yeah.
but on that note, Lavender Green wants to
Yeah.
just say, see you next time.
And Samantha May, so Moda B.
And Raven Waters, blessed be, and find out how this could impact a little more in your daily life.
Namaste.